So for those joining us on Zoom recorded, welcome. Okay. Okay, so this year we have school buses again. So this big bus will pull up in front of my house. Okay, and that's Camp Central. Okay? And in one of the links, one of the letters, there's a link to that. Okay. So we'll all be masked. You'll come with a negative test. Andy will be at a table in the driveway, checking you off and making sure, remember to bring that test with you. And we're going to be wearing masks on the bus. And there'll be staff as well as campers on the bus. Gideon is our bus leader, and there'll be other staff. Jojo will be on the bus. There'll be other staff on the bus. And these are all pre-COVID pictures, obviously. And the campus will help us to load up the bus. Okay? And we work together as a community from the very, very beginning. Wave goodbye and have a vacation on it. Then we do the other thing on the other side. We unload the bus. Okay. Our first session, which starts Monday, is at Mendocino. And we have a big group site there, just north of Fort Bragg at the Carroll State Park. Our second session at Big Sur, they have not had a group site there in almost, I'm going to say 10 years, really long time, which is too bad. It's a fabulous site, but it does not exist anymore. We rent 10 contiguous sites at the end of this road that basically becomes our base. So we have lots of space there, and it's very exciting, right at the Redwoods. And then in the Sierras, we've been leasing a site at the Tahoe National Forest on Packer Lake Road and the Gold Lake area near the Sierra Buttes. And again, we've been leasing that for probably 30 years. We have a 10-year lease on that site. Hey, so we have an open circle, okay, where we introduce each other, okay, talk about what pronouns you might want to use, what you might want to share with the group so that you have a really successful period. Yeah, I know that some people have a hard time drinking water. It's so important. Some people forget about sunscreen and they go, oh, please remind me to put sunscreen on. Okay. Whatever you think is going to be important to help you be successful. And then we set up our tents. Okay. So Camp Chryslis is like family camping, but bigger. We basically arrive at a site, set up our tents, our village, we set up our kitchen area, we set up our woodworking, our clothesline, our crafts area, and we run our program. This is actually at the Mendocino site. Okay. So there's a big area that's open, great for setting up the tents. Lots of tables. We have this down to a science. We do this really fast. And you'll notice now, okay, the morning of the second day, the first full day that we're there, there'll be a schedule. And then you'll all see us what we're going to do each day. It's always the meals we're going to eat. Okay. And we have a clothesline here that has your dishes. Okay. You'll see a photo in a little while of the dishwashing system that we and Trail years use and have used for decades.
Want a beer or anything, Todd?
No, okay. How many people like food? Woohoo! Yeah. How many people like delicious food? Campers continually say our food is some of the best. And I think one of the reasons is that the staff eat the same food as the camper. And since we really like to eat good food, we're going to eat really good food also. And campers help cook. So same situation is going to happen. But if they're in the same cohort, they're not going to need to be masked. But if they're helping with other cohorts, they'll have a mask on, at least for the first few days until we do a second COVID test at camp. Quesadilla.
It's a system.
Stir fries.
Stir fry, yeah.
That's not part of it. So this is Erica. She's on staff, and she's the mama of Yaniv's 2 kids, and this is a barbecue chicken. I like it. Burrito bar. So we do a lot of delicious chicken burrito. All the condiments if you're vegetarian. There are lots of vegetarian options, not a problem. is on staff. He's a little older than that. Robert just graduated. I don't think he's seen this photo. Maybe last 2 years
He has,
ago.
yeah.
He laughed. I was just at his graduation party. These are really nice and pretty families. There is salad at every meal. And we salad, if you don't like salad, we do have carrots as an option. Okay, so this is our cleaning method. First thing you do is you wipe your plate clean. So you'll see that we'll have our hand washing stations. Actually, we don't have a photo of that, but they're hand washing stations. Okay, so it'll be a paper towel. Okay, that after you just wash your hands and wipe your hands. So at the end of the meal, okay, you wipe your face with it, you wipe your plate with it, so that the food doesn't end up in these buckets. There are about 60 people. Imagine if you were number 60 and there was everybody's food in that bucket. Would that be gross? Yeah, so really important. Okay, so soap and water, rinse water, a light bleach water which disinfects. We hang it in the mesh bags, the bleach evaporates. Okay. Leaders use this rafting kit all over. Works really well. And so each cohort, each small group, and we've actually used this structure since camp started. So each cohort has a job. One cohort will help us cook, another will help us clean, another will build a campfire, and the other one sort of picks up around the side and just helps out in some different ways. And that rotates each day. So here's a group that's helping a little bit of the group cleaning, singing songs, having a good time. So even though we're a nature camp and we're building community, we're also doing lots of woodwork, lots of crafts. Okay, so this is actually green. How many people are going to bring a knife? Good. How many of you will use one of our knives? Yes. Good. Yes. We have lots of knives. We just have knives with locking blades, and I didn't mean to. I apologize. I meant to bring one to show you. Okay. Swiss Army knives are fine. The locking blades are a step even better. Okay. So it's something if you don't have your own knife, or if you want to try one of our knives, you certainly can see what a locking blade is. Okay. Basically, when the blade is open and you're pressing down, it's locked. It doesn't close in the way a Swiss Army knife would. So we just bought 15 new knives. So we've got brand new knives and some. Look at that. Thank you. Okay. So notice whittling. Okay. Pretend. So imagine this being the best. If I'm whittling here, okay, and I'm putting pressure on the blade, it doesn't, right? It's not closing. It locks. That's the key. Okay, so that you can really do good work. We do a lot of instruction. Okay, our veterans here, okay, they know no one's allowed to open up knives until they pass the beginning test. Okay. They also know some of the rules. Okay, Josh, want to tell me one of the rules? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Jackson. Okay. But got another one, Peter? Okay. What am I doing wrong? I'm walking with the knife open. Oh, not a good idea. See, with the locking blade, if I press this here, always place your knife in the wall. Okay, thank you. Oh, nice. Okay. Let's see if they using the knives properly. Ooh, saws too. What's this one? Woodworking is a big deal. We have licenses. There's really a lot of stuff. We bring a lot of stuff. Chisels, right? That's the beginning of a ring. Happy camper. T-shirts. So I made this T-shirt in what year is this? You did. Yes, long time ago, right? It's great. Right? Only in the summer, but still. Actually, where the information is too. So yeah, we have the silk screen. Okay. So on your list, on your packing list, it says bring a shirt, a light color shirt. That's the best for most colors like this. Okay. So a wood block, please. These are leaves. Oh, now. Did you make that? I didn't. All these leaves are found at the Big Sur. This is the Big Sur. So you'll have some choices. You can just paint on it. You can do whatever you want. So this is August. So this is a silk screen that we have, and August is choosing several colors. Coloring in the leaves, painting the leaves, I should say. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Printing a cone. Here we are. Some of them. So you can see some of the t-shirts that campers have made. Watercolors. As Yaniv was saying, everybody gets a bear book. Starts out blank. Pretty boring. And over the 8 or 10 or 12 days of the session, we do all kinds of things. Yeah. Come back to that available. Filled with your memories and adventures and your drawings and whatever thoughts you have out there in the woods. Right, so every year you get a new one, right? So, right, so the year right here, so you now have what? 13?
Yeah, that's the end.
Pretty wonderful.
Oh, but that's that.
Yeah. This is Sage working on the wood block. Simple is best, but if you have an idea before camp starts, if you have a picture of something or you find one on the internet, and we can help you turn it into a print. Simple. That's not so simple, but simple is best, especially for your first one. See poems. Leather bags. Okay, that's another project that we'll be doing. Guitars. So we do a lot of singing. Singing is part of the culture of the camp. We have a songbook from last year. New ones are at the printer, 40th year. Okay. And there are, how many songs are in there? A lot of songs. You may not know most of them, but you will know some of them. We teach guitar. If you have a guitar that you feel comfortable, or ukulele, or some instrument that you want to bring to camp, you can. We bring some extras. If you're interested in learning, then we can show you some of the easier songs to start out, and everybody can sing. So anyone's ever told you you can't sing?
Don't listen.
Everybody can sing. We have a good time singing. On Zumba, Ashley's going to be at Big Sur, and she's 6 months pregnant now. But I have a feeling we'll still be doing some Zumba when she's in that session. And again, just as optional, you don't have to, but we do invite you to. And we have chess, we have Connect Four, we have lots of card games, lots of things also to play with. And as I said, campfire is an important part. We have a campfire almost every night. Okay. And at that campfire, we do a lot of singing. In the Sierras, we have to do some serious hatching. Okay. But at all sessions, we bring up wood, and if you've never used a hatchet before, we will teach you how to use a hatchet safely. Splitting wood. And how to build a fire. Now, you really want to get good. Seeing what I got. Oh, there it is. Okay. Steel, flint. It's actually flint in England. Fireworks, right? Pretty cool, right? Okay, so now I'm pretty good at it. But I'll tell you, last year, the kids at Big Sur got so good that we actually started using stuff from the environment to start fires. That was really challenging. We've never done that before, so that was very exciting. Okay. But to start out, we have lots of jute. And you make what's called a nest. So you pull the jute apart, fold it in and pull it apart. See what's called a nest? Little bird could be in it. And then you get a piece of what's called char cloth. It's like charcoal, it's cotton that's been cooked inside that little container so that it's not ash yet. Okay. Stick this. Catch a spark. See if it out there. There's a spark, right? So put it in the nest. Let it go. They don't want me to do that. But, bring it out. So, flint and steel, right, char cloth, right, and a jute nest. Okay. Look at that. Okay, she's on the board. Yeah.
Next level stuff.
That's next. No drill. That's much harder. Oh, it looks like they're singing and dancing a song. I think this is John Sales. It's one of the songs. It's got to have marshmallows sometime. Right? And some more sometime also. Just brought a candle. And of course, skid night. Skiddy, you want to talk about skid night?
Yeah. So I love skid night. Loved it as a camper. I did theater in middle school, did theater in high school. I always loved theater. What I think is great about skid night is even if you've never done any theater in your entire life, you've never got in front of a stage in front of everybody or anybody, it's a great time to try it. It's a great audience, and we have so many fantastic skits. You don't have to remember any lines. You don't have to remember much movement. You get up there, you do a few bits, people are going to love it. Now, if you do happen to love theater, then you can absolutely come up with your own plays, your own little skit performances. So here we have the fantastic Swedish two hands. So this person might go through their daily routine, putting on some sunscreen, brushing their teeth, having some fruit. You might notice that their hand and their brain are not quite doing the same thing. Why is that? I don't know, but people find it absolutely hilarious. We have lots of dancing, any kind of physical skills. We've had contortionists. We've had people do soccer juggling, any kind of skill like that. I don't even know what skit this is, but there's lots of, oh yeah, here's some more. I think I might have an idea what that one was. Yeah, so here's some more cool acrobatics. We even have, you see this one, yeah, or this one too. There's like a real, this is at Mendocino. We have a stage. We have like an actual stage. We have a backstage back there where you can hide your props. here is Alara.
Yeah.
Right, this is Alara who was playing the flute. Fantastic rendition. So I'm very excited. If you're interested in theater, if you're interested in cool skills and strutting your stuff, definitely make sure to find me as soon as we get to camp or even tonight, and we can talk about some fantastic performing ideas.
So at the very end of the session, we'll have what's called a closing circle, where we share something that we really loved about the session, something that we really learned about ourselves, about other people, about the environment. And we create this web, this wonderful web that connects us. I still have my bracelet here. This is from the backpacking session, actually the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Remember this. And we head back home in the school bus to reunite with families. So the next series of slides about each of the different sessions, just to give you a little bit of a sense of the day-to-day. So Big Sur, it's a beautiful part of the coastline, okay? And that's going to be a second session this year. Okay? And some of the sites are in the are from the old area, but still, we're camping amongst the redwood trees. Absolutely beautiful. So we set up our village. And there's lots of games that we play as we're learning about the redwoods. Trips to the beach. Andrew Malera Beach is about a mile from the trailhead, and it's a beautiful hike on this path with grasslands all around us to where the Big Sur River comes out into the Pacific Ocean. This is the lagoon that the river empties into at the ocean. So it's a beautiful beach. We don't swim in the ocean, but we certainly play and do swim in the lagoon. Ospreys, falcons. We've seen whales there. We've seen condors flying there. It's close enough to the pinnacles in the area to see condors. Just hang out, play on the beach, build rafts. Water can be cold. Now, the Big Sur River, which is right next to our camp, follow the trail a little higher towards the Los Padres National Forest, you get to what's called the gorge, a place where it narrows down. It's a beautiful place to swim. And we go there almost every day, especially if the weather's hot.
It's me.
Yeah, it's you. That's a great rock to jump off. And there are two big hikes we do. One ends up at a waterfall, exploring the redwoods there. See all the walking sticks. So part of woodworking is also building walking sticks if you want. And learning about the redwoods, the amount of water that they need, just all the different parts of it. And that's beautiful waterfall at the very end of the trails. So we used to do a park service project. The rangers have stopped us from doing that because they don't want their staff facilitating that, which is a requirement, which is too bad, but it is what it is. Yeah. Crayfish, otherwise known as crawdads. So, like crabs, like prawns, like lobsters, they really like smelling food. So some of the barbecue chicken we don't cook. We just let it sit around. They are an invasive species. They eat the turtle eggs, they eat the trout eggs. They just are happy. And say, please, as many as you want. So we catch them, we learn about them, and we tie those smelly chicken parts to a rope, lower it down, and we scoop them up with nets. There it is. This is a big guy. They see the white. It's claws. Look at all of them. They're not an endangered species. No one has to do this, but it really is fun for those who get into it. And we learn how to hold them so we don't get pinched.
Talk to them too. Like, what's up, Crawdad? He said, yes.
The anatomy, yes. And those who are interested get to eat them. Again, no, we have mac and cheese that night. We make a delicious homemade mac and cheese.
It tastes like lobster, and we make yummy sauce with butter and
Lots of
lemon and some wine.
Our Mendocino session is at Fort Bragg, McCarrick Park. As I said, it's a beautiful part of the coast. And the entire camp schedule is based upon the best tide group. This year we have a negative 1.9 tide, which means that as the tide has gone out, all those animals that normally are underwater 95% of the year are exposed. Plants are exposed. We can see them for a short period of time until the tide comes in. So this is our typical week. We have 10 days, the river trip, the tide pools, all the different things that change. The schedule changes every year, but it's the same basic activities. So once again, we set up our camp. She's on staff. She's a unit. Beautiful part of the park. The weather's looking really good for next week. So the sea stars are magnificent. It's one of the best places. We go to Glass Beach, which is in Fort Bragg. It's a great place to tide. And we go up the river in a canoe. Oh, actually, not a canoe. We have catamarans and outriggers. We've shipped for that over the last few years. And it's one of the last rivers in California that's not dammed, that's not diverted, that's just the way it was as of 200 years ago. And we see all kinds of animals in it. So let's see how many you can spot. It's one of our newer boats. Obviously. You have it, right? Everybody see that? River otters. Nope, there's no guarantee, sorry. No promises. Every year is different. But there is a family that lives in this river. So we often, at least some people, will see them. That's a big problem. And we have lunch at a rope swim. That's up the river about 5 miles. So we spend the whole day. So half the camp goes one day, the next day the other half. Everyone has a chance who wants to. I always do. I love it. Swimming out, dropping into the water. And we visit Michael's tree. So my friend Michael, who started the camp, died probably 10 years ago now of a blood disease. And we planted, the year after he died, we brought this redwood tree up and we planted it. And I leave treasures sometimes on the tree, and we just tell the story about Michael. If you Google Michael Rossman, he was a political activist involved with the free speech movement in Berkeley a long time, but also a crazy naturalist and an author too. So the last few years, they've not allowed us to visit the sand dunes that we did for 30 years because the sandy plovers like to nest in areas and are protected. We have another spot on the Mendocino coast that we'll be visiting that does have some dunes that we're going to be visiting this year. CITs. It's fun to jump. big sand dunes. That's the 10-mile river beach, and it flows into the ocean.
We do go there.
One year, it was so gross and wonderful. The river's right there, you can get some.
She's so clean. Why is she still so clean?
That's about as far as it goes. There's a waterfall hike, and this one also. What's nice about this waterfall is it's a little bit bigger. Actually go under it. Oh, on the way there. Anyone ever seen or eaten a thimbleberry? This is better, right? Yeah. Oh. Where did you see a thimbleberry? Ah, okay. Ah, I'm not seeing them now. I'll have to keep my eyes out for them until then. I like that. Yeah, they're so delicate, they never go to the market. They show up there. Yeah. There's different kinds of berries. We never know from year to year when the berries will be the most ripe. Hopefully we'll hit it at just the right time. So there's a waterfall behind them. A beautiful waterfall. Thimbleberries. They come off like a thimble. So this is a game that we play on one of the heights. The tide pool. So again, I mentioned it's the best tide pooling time of the year. It's a negative 1.9 tide. And let's just give you some sense of some of the animals and plants that we might see. This little critter, it's called a nudibranch, naked gills. Okay. And there are some nudibranchs are some of the fiercest carnivores in the ocean for their size. But they're beautiful, especially when they're in the water and when they relax their gills. Sea anemones and bat stars and blood stars, all kinds of things. And abalone. And so one of the things we do talk about Mendocino is some of the different things that have happened over the last 10 years in terms of the ecology of the area. Otters and kelp and the wasting disease, okay, and the sea urchins. Some of you may be aware of the ecological mess that's happened. But we'll be spending time talking about that. So this is an example of different kinds of nudibranchs, sometimes called sea slugs. Lemon slug, a Hermesenda, and a clown. Maybe beautiful. We don't often see octopus. Sometimes a little baby will show up in the church. So that's it's the biggest snail called an abalone. Okay. And they are endangered now. So we can no longer harvest abalone. We used to harvest them and give people a taste, but the season's completely closed because they're so endangered. That's a huge sunflower star. Okay. And they're orange, purple, 20 arms, like really huge. Okay. And I'm going to say 5 to 10 years ago, there was this wasting disease where the arms started to just fall off the body. And they're starting to recover, but it's still an ecological disaster. wonderful harbor seals, sea palms. The first abalone.
And
Several years ago, we had a parent of a camper who got us kayak in the ocean fishing. Red snapper. I never knew why they called red snapper. Maybe black cod. So this is a red sea urchin. They're not endangered. Anything, they're causing a lot of trouble. And they're a real delicacy around the world, especially in a lot of the Asian communities. I like sea urchin myself. And we certainly break it open and give people a taste who are interested in trying something different. You can see. I can't believe he broke it open at that. He's going to eat that.
delicious.
Most of them. Every so often you get one that's. And we learn about typos and zonations, how it all works. Including the adaptation that animals have to survive the typos. And they paint their own typos after they've actually experienced it. Okay. So in all sessions, you will see tablecloths that past campers have made, okay, about the typos that they experienced and saw. And they talk about it, tell us what they saw. Sea stars, whatever else. This year we won't be up there for the July 4th. Okay. When the timing is right, okay, they set up fireworks right off of the New York Harbor. It's absolutely a great place to be. This is the beach at 10 Mile River Beach, and it's a beautiful place to play. Particular game called Shoes in My Sand. Sand in My Shoes. After the Mendocino session this year, they'll have a chance to play that. And they have to find a shoe that's been buried in the sand. Great. The winner. Now, Sierra session that is the third one this year. It's, as I said, it's a beautiful place on Papa Lake Road. We're releasing the Town National Forest. It's a 12-day session. It's our most rigorous, and the last few days is a backpacking trip to a beautiful mountain lake, one of the several deer lakes that are in California. There are beavers in that area. Beaver chew. Next to maybe even more, even the people. They are the biggest engineers in the world. Change the environment. So we explore the beaver. We sort of see what's happened from year to year. Natural dam. Swimming in the beaver marsh. We built a dam at the creek that flows right past our camp. It's cold, but it's really wonderful. And before COVID, we had a sweat lodge that we visited in small little groups. Okay? And we'd heat up the rocks so they really were magnet, really hot. Bring the rocks into the tent, okay? Pour hot water on them, fill it up with steam, talk, tell stories, and then at the end, jump into the creek. Okay? It's quite wonderful. That's the sweat lodge fire. We got to chop a lot of wood for a big fire. So, as in other sessions, sawing and chopping, hatcheting are good skills. We do teach them. We have lots of hatchets and saws. Sand Pond is the warmest area. It's the fourth body of water in a glacial cirque that that's a popular spot for anyone who's camping in the area. And the snakes all over the place. It's a beautiful place to spend a hot day. The Sierras, because we have a lot of land, is the only place where we can offer archery. But we've got a lot of new arrows and 2 Genesis bows this year for people to try who've never done archery before. So we offer instruction. Now, Saxonia was a lake that there's really no trail to. So we sit around this topographical map and we figure out the compass bearing from the trailhead to the lake. And the campers volunteer to lead us to this lake. Learn about contour lines and how to read a topographical map. Off they go. And there it is. Every year, they lead us to the lake, and they take the bearing from there back to camp on the map, and they bushwhack, follow the creek that comes out of that lake. They bushwhack down, and keep that bearing, and usually end up across the road from the camp. It's a really successful non-technology experience. Anyone have a sense of who made that? That's bear. There are bears in the area. They don't often visit our camp, but every so often, someone will leave their date back out next morning. But this time, find it somewhere in a new place. Bushwhacking down from Saxonia Lake. One of our favorite hikes is a 5-mile lake loop. And beautiful wildflowers, and there really are 5 lakes. We can go in each one. Over the space of the 12 days, campers can go in 12 or 13 different bodies of water. So it's a real high swimming session. Look at all the wildflowers. Paintbrush, it's just so many different things. So this is a glacier territory. So it's really learning about the power of glaciers. Looking for the signs of glaciers. It used to be a gold mine called Round Lake. The shaft is closed, but the remains are still there. Pumping water. We learn how to pump water. Keep our eyes open for any animals that are around. And there are rivers nearby that we'll sometimes visit, like the Salmon River. And an all-day hike that we do is to the top of the buttes. Trailhead the base camp is at about 5,900 feet. The trailhead starts at about 68, maybe 7,000, and the top of the buttes is 8,500, something like that.
I think it's, yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
8575 or 8757.
Challenging hike, but no frame packs, so just a day pack. Take our time with all day. We get up there for lunch.
8587. Right?
Yeah, not bad. And the very top is a fire lookout tower that's been there for a long time. And you look down at Young America, Upper Sardine, Lower Sardine, Then you can see a sand pond where we swim on the second day. This is going up to the lookout tower, and it's now closed, has been for decades. Beautiful views, there's often snow, okay, not nearby, but sometimes even nearby. On a big snow year, you can have snow cones in the middle of July. And this particular trip ends with this backpacking trip to Deer Lake. It's a beautiful 3-mile hike, flat climb, and we stayed there for 2 nights. It's a beautiful mountain lake. We learn how to pack the frame packs. We learn the ABCs of packing. Set off on their adventure. Across the boulders. There's a marsh there that we can visit the next morning, see what's living there. Really low, so you can move here into the marsh. It's a great swimming. Beautiful campfire there, and the moon in the sky, the stars. And the next morning, the sun rises, cooks you in your sleeping bag. And we actually have a skip night for the Sierra session there. It's actually this. Yeah, they're playing the flute again.
That's one of the contortionists.
She's on staff. Coming back after Deer Lake, there's some of the best water in the Sierras. There's a pump there at the trailhead, which is very wonderful. That's Tyler, and he's on staff also.
Hailstorm.
Yeah. Oh.
That's crazy.
We came back
hailstorm.
from Deer Lake one year. Started dinner, all of a sudden, right over us. It really was localized, right over us. We get this hailstorm, and the water just flowed into the kitchen.
Yeah. There's a photo of that. Yeah.
And 20 minutes later, it was done. So anyone here for the backpacking session? Well, we'll pass on this one. Okay. So I really appreciate you all being here. A couple of things I just wanted to share before I just open it up for questions. On the packing list, it says dry shoes and a second pair of wet shoes. Closed-toed shoes. Well, the dry shoes are like hiking shoes. Good pair of sneakers, just shoes that are comfortable for hiking. They never get wet. But the wet shoes, I have an old pair of sneakers. Good work. You know, Keens or some other kind of shoe that has a closed toe. But these, it's not good. Flip-flops, not good. Okay? Because they're not going to protect your feet. We do a lot of scrambling, exploring rivers and lakes. Foot injury and camp, it's a real drag for everybody. So we want to make sure you have something to protect your feet. So again, you don't have to go out and buy something. If you have something like this, great. If you have an old pair of sneakers, it's a good time to turn them into your wet shoes and camp. Really important item. Sun protection. Not a choice, either a hat or a cap. So find something that you like wearing. Okay. We have extras, so we'll give you one for the week if you don't bring a Bring one that you really like, because anytime you're out in the sun and you're not swimming, okay, you have a t-shirt on and you have a hat on your head. Okay, it's decreased our sunburns. I'm gonna say 90%. It really works. It's like mosquitoes come out. Yeah, you can put poison on your body, but if you put on clothes, okay, it works too, but without putting any poison on your body. So things to think about. Okay. Thank you for your attention. Questions? Yes.
So I have two. I'm wondering, are we gonna get any help to like help set up our tents?
Absolutely. We have set up almost every possible kind of tent you could imagine and more. Okay. But you know what would be even better? Set it up in your backyard before camp so that you, because the idea, if you have your own tent, you want to learn how to set up your own tent and how to take care of it so zipper doesn't get messed up or anything like that.
Yeah, and then also, are there baths?
Yes, there are bathrooms in all our sessions. You do not have to hold it in. Okay. At Big Sur and at Mendocino, they are state parks, so they have flush toilets. At Sierras, there are two ways to go to the bathroom. Okay. One is a nature pee, okay, when we're on a trail or something like that. And even at base camp, it's a big enough site that you can do that. Okay. We also have portable toilets. We rent four portable toilets that get cleaned in the middle of the session. Okay. And on the trail, we will teach you how to poop in the woods. On the backpacking trip at Deer Lake, we will teach you how to poop in the woods because, but actually, at Deer Lake, because it's a group, we actually dig a trench. Okay, so if you go to the Sierras, you will discover the wonders of a trench for a group. Okay, yes.
So if someone gets homesick and they want to, someone gets homesick, they want to reach out to home, and they're used to having a phone, text.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Sierras, we don't even have phone service.
Yeah.
Okay, Big Sur and Mendocino, it's more regular. Big Sur, it's sporadic. Okay, what we found in the past generally is that homesickness tends to not go away after they talk with their families. It tends to get worse. Okay, so what I would suggest is write some really nice notes about how much you love them, put some nice stuffies into their bag and just say, have a great time. I know you can do this. See you in 8 days. That would be my suggestion. Yeah. I don't know if I answered that well, but okay, good. Yes.
I also have two questions.
Sure.
One, how many people are?
We have 10 or 11 campers in a cohort and 2 staff.
Okay. Also,
Some groups may have 3 staff.
are we like, do we take showers or do we just like?
That's a great question. Most of the ways we keep our bodies clean, because that is important, is by swimming in water. Okay. At Big Sur and at Mendocino, because the state parks, they do have showers. Okay. They use tokens, and we will give you, your cohort leader will have a token for you to use, okay, sometime during the trip. You can decide when you want to take your shower. But almost every day we go swimming and can keep our bodies clean naturally. Okay, yes. It's maybe we can do postcards that day or something like that. Maybe that might be a better one. I know it is hard to be gone. Yeah, I'm a dad too, right? So yeah, I'm not going to be around for Father's Day. Good point. Yes.
Mendocino environment where you're on the non-kayak, whatever. I can't remember.
The catamarans and outriggers?
Yes, they have life jackets.
Absolutely. No. Everybody comes with a life jacket. Yes. And there is one of our staff in every one of those boats. Yes.
You mentioned giving the kids another test that you gave at COVID. Are you providing that? Or?
Yes, we are providing. Yeah. One of the nice things this summer is that tests they're available. As a youth organization, I actually applied for them. They send me, I have 6 cases of tests on my front porch. Okay, so the government's doing what it should be doing, is supplying these so that we can actually stay safe. So I really love it when the government does what it's supposed to do. Yeah, it's great. Okay. Questions? No one's asked me about the food? None of the kids asked me about it.
Well, I didn't ask you about the food, because it sounded like you were pretty sure about the food, it's good. So I trusted you. And then,
Thank you.
Oh, what if someone's positive? How would they go home?
What if someone what?
Was positive test?
We would, in the Sierra session, there is a phone booth that we could go to and call the families. The other sessions, either this phone booth or we'll find a place where we have cell service. But I'm really hoping, okay, that, last year it was not as contagious a variant, but nobody got caught at all. This year, because everybody's getting tested right at the beginning, it's just what's called serial testing, to test a few days afterwards. It's just like a guarantee. Okay, so there's no guarantees, but it's as close as we can get. Yeah.
Are we allowed to use an at-home test that you wait for 15 minutes?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's acceptable.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It absolutely is acceptable. Yeah. Yeah. PCR tests are recommended. Okay. If you've not had COVID for a couple of months, if your kid had COVID in June, they're going to test positive on a PCR test for about at least 90 days in general. Okay. So you can't even do a PCR test. But if the camper is COVID free, so that would be ideal. That's the best. But home tests are fine. That's what we're going to use that at camp. We're going to use the home test.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes.
I have two questions. The first question is, what kind of bedding should we, if you want to get comfortable on the ground? At the house, all I have is like backpacking, things you go up or whatever.
That's fine. Oh yeah, backpacking pad, any kind of pad is fine.
Is there something more comfortable?
Sure. Yeah, I bring a cot and a pad. I used to not, but at this point, I'm not backpacking with it. So, if I'm going to be there for 10 days, why not bring my cot, right? So, and I love my cot. I have my pad on top of it. Is that necessary? No. When I was for decades, I never did that. I don't think any of my staff bring cots. Some people bring air mattresses. Yeah. Because you're there for 8 days, 10 days. So, yeah.
I think
Second question.
campers generally find the air ones are a little more comfortable than, we have a lot of ones who come with the Silver Ridge, and that's a classic, and that builds character. But if you're worried about comfort, some of the thicker air ones, they're very comfortable.
And my second question is, can they bring any of their own food or snacks?
The problem with bringing their own food is that the rodents, the squirrels, and in Sierras, the bears, they really.
They will get them.
Chipmunks will chew holes in tents to go after food. Okay, we supply a lot of food. If it's a specific issue, shoot me an email. Let's talk about it. I know we have to close really soon because they're closing. So just a few last questions. Yes.
Actually, about the food, if we were to bring any, are we going to put the food up in where like we put them in like bags and then put them up on trees?
Not shown to be effective against bears. When on a backpacking trip, we do have bear cans, okay, but we don't bring them on our other sessions. If you have your own food, it's really important, okay, that it be with our food in the coolers and the boxes to be kept away from animals. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Again, with the food, can we bring the recipes home?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
You can ask that. The perfect thing to act is for the available, right? We'll give you all the recipes if you want.
Yeah, and I'm happy to email you recipes if there's anything you really like to, because we have a cookbook. Okay, they're closing in like 5 minutes. So what I'd like to do is, if you have another question, come up to me. Okay. Okay. If not, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the Zoomers.